Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. I am really pleased to be here and welcoming you this evening in the UK. So good afternoon to the ones in the afternoon, good morning and good evening. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight, and showing the show tonight is A Woman's Prerogative Part 2. Our subject tonight is the role of fashion, art and personal style in self-expression. We had a show on Monday night and this is our part 2. And tonight we are being welcomed with MARISKA But before we bring her in, I actually want to say that we'll be streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon, X, Fire, Apple TV, Roku, and Android devices, as well as E360 TV. It is absolutely wonderful to welcome our new viewers on E360 TV. Let's bring in MARISKA.
Hello.
Hello. How lovely to see you from the other side of the world.
Literally, you are in the middle of the night, Caroline. I do not envy you the very, very late night. I am almost in the middle of my day. So for me, it is 11 a.m. And I'm, of course, a day ahead. So I'm on Friday. You on Thursday?
I'm still Thursday night. I haven't been to bed yet.
Yes.
So, MARISKA,
Yes.
Tell our viewers a little bit about you.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I help leaders, so people specializing, wanting to go into leadership, as well as leaders moving up in their career. That is the people that I love working with. It is so much fun. We always have so much that we discover during our coaching sessions. And then I also, of course, help them within the teams. So looking at ways that they can bring things to their leadership that would actually help them within the teams that they lead. And yes, for some fun and relaxation for me, I also write books. So there is a couple of books that me and Dr. Jacalyn has written in our Lady Allah series that is around listening for children. And I don't know about you, but I do know that if somebody told me a little bit more about listening early on, I might have done a way better job of it as I grew up. And of course, we learn from those around us, the other leaders in our life, which is, of course, the parents, grandparents, and other family members that we have. And we learn all our valuable listening skills from them as well. Now, I remember when I was growing up, I had a tendency to always hear, well, you need to keep quiet and listen to me, which doesn't always help so much in understanding what listening skills might be like and how to utilize them. So hence the books. And a great way for young and old to learn through the adventures of Lady Ella how to listen better. So yes, that is the main things that I do. I also have a little podcast that I run with my fellow coach and friend, Kiara. And we have a workshop that's coming up that I'm really, really excited about. So the workshop is looking at turning our passion into some form of a financial income stream and being able to do that and how we can go about doing that. So very, very excited. Please watch this space. We will be launching our registrations soon, so very excited about that. And that is about the things that I can think about. Caroline, what is it that you do these days?
That's a lot of exciting things. Well,
Yes.
I am a stress expert. I help people manage, literally bust their stress. So I help them manage what's not working for them and break through so that they actually have a much more peaceful experience in their relationships and in their physical, emotional, mental health. And I work to break through using root cause therapy, using chakra psychology. How I do that, essentially, if people say they're not stressed, I usually say to them, what is it that you're complaining about? So if it's a relationship, if it's a physical ache and pain, if it's like back pain, if they're not sleeping, that's their stress. That's what they're not handling. And usually there's a root cause to that stress, not the presenting symptom at that point, but a root cause that would have been much, much earlier on. So last night, I actually spoke to a nurse, and she said that she'd had insomnia for years since she was 8 years old, and I identified the root cause for her that literally was over 2 decades old in terms of when it first started. And that's what I do, and then the person gets a really incredible night's sleep. And on the platform, I'm co-host for the Listening Mentor, which is on Fridays. I do 2 shows a month. And I also have my own Talking Head show, which is every Tuesday at 5 o'clock UK time. And that's midday Eastern time. Well, tonight's episode, we're going to be looking at the role of fashion, art, and personal style in self-expression, and it's our part 2, and it is our 76th episode and our 4th episode on E360 TV. So let's begin with the topic. Tell me what it means to you, Mariska, the role of fashion and art and personal style. What comes to your mind when that topic is given to you? What comes up for you in terms of your everyday style? Do you have a particular way that you like to show up? Did you show up in a certain way when you were younger? What does it mean to you? Share with our viewers.
Well, the role of fashion, art, and personal style, I think for me, it is a way of expressing who I am and who I want to be in the world and how I want to show up. And it's also a way for me to show things that I really like and enjoy, especially I think in the arts. So fashion, typically for me, I'm not a fashion slave. So stuff might be trending, and I know that for some people, if it's a trend right now, they want to get it, and then they get it, and next season it's not trending anymore. So typically for me, that's not the way it works. I like classics. So things that helps really well is, well, anything that has longevity within the fashion space. And yeah, that's the way I really enjoy expressing it. And then, of course, the arts. Ooh, the arts. I love art in all sorts of shapes and sizes and forms. So that is a great way of being able to bring that little bit of individual expression into spaces. So really, really love that, which makes me wonder, Caroline, I know that you have recently moved to a new space. What are you doing in that space to bring a little bit of you into it?
Oh, Mariska, you little devil. Just because I shared something with you, I'm actually now going to be able to share with the viewers. I've had something very exciting happen today. I've had two extremely extraordinary young men that I've been longer waiting to get my garden, my front and back garden sorted, because the weeds were up here. They were almost as tall as me. The previous owner didn't really do much weeding or much anything in the gardens. And so I have a huge forecourt at the front and at the back. It was full of weeds. And I asked, the job I asked to be done was all the weeds to be removed and it to be jet washed. And I have old style lamps in the garden. And there's all sorts of different things, but I didn't actually know what was underneath all the weeds. And the boys have done an extraordinary job. And I now have an absolutely incredible two-toned patio on the back garden. And I'm just so excited because it's really lovely. And I can actually hang my washing out there now and the weeds not catch up with the washing. And so the guys that did it, the main guy that I dealt with, his name was Jay. And he said that he's going to do some before and after shots and send them to me. So I'm going to share those with you as soon as I get them. But that for me is art, because I'm now expressing how I want the garden to be. And what they have done is they've cleaned up everything, and to the point that now I can see what's underneath the weeds, and I'm now going to have green grass. And I said, you know, well, I do want you to come back and do the grass. And I said, I'd really like some lavender as well, you know, and they said, oh, that'll be really nice. That'll have nice smells. And what about mint? And I said, well, that's a great idea. And I'm looking at, there's an archway in the garden, which I always wanted an archway, and that's a feature in the garden. And I've got ideas of trailing flowers around the arch. So I'm actually quite excited about, you know, making it my garden as I'm making my home my home. And yes, it is now art. Absolutely, it really is. So thank you for allowing me to share my latest bit of information, because it is quite exciting. They didn't leave until really late this afternoon. Well, this evening, I think they left about 8 o'clock this evening. So it was quite late this evening. Yeah. So tell me more about your personal art. You know, one of the things that is something that I can recollect as a child is that I always wanted the latest hairstyles. And when I was really young, there was a Dana hairstyle that I was really into. And so whenever I went to the hairdressers, you know, there was only 3 channels when I was young. And so everybody had the Dana hair look, you know, which was sort of straight here and then it was sort of flicked up. And then everybody went into the Dallas looks, and it was, you know, it was just a thing. And I remember having a page boy look, and that was also an expression of my personality. And, you know, I remember when it was all kind of a really big thing to have, you know, big hair. So I had my hair out here. Now it's very straight. You know, but I did have the big hair, you know, so I used to have it permed, and then I would just like sort of turn myself upside down and my hair would be like this. So what about your hairstyles?
Oh, hairstyles. So interesting that you ask. your hairstyle explanation sort of reminds me of my sister. She went through a whole bunch of different ones, and she would cut them and grow them and do all sorts of funny things with them. My hair has a tendency to grow really, really slowly. So when I was around getting into school, my hair was about shoulder length. And I decided I wanted a very, very long hair, and it needs to go all the way to the bottom of my bottom.
Oh.
Yes, I wanted really long hair. So I started growing it, and I told my mom she's not allowed to cut it. So I grew it throughout my whole school cycle, basically, all the way until I finished school. Never got it that long. I tried everything I could. I don't know. The only thing I didn't do is put weights on the ends so that it could pull it down. But other than that, I tried all the supplements and trying different things to eat and all the rest of it. So always had long hair in school. It was really, really easy. So for me, I know a lot of people go, yeah, long hair is such a lot of work. Actually, if you know what to do with long hair, it's the easiest hair on the planet. And that's what I found throughout school. So wasn't a problem. The only time I did have a problem with it is when I was too little to actually tie it up myself, because I remember my grandmother would take my hair and then pull it back into a pony. Oh man, the sides of my eyes would go squinty. She was quite violent on the pulling. So other than that, I cut my hair once that it was short. Wasn't too bad. I wasn't in love with it. Grew it back out. It's a pain to grow it back out. For those people that have short hair and gone to long hair, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So got it grown back out, and yeah, it's been long ever since. So I'm a little bit boring hair-wise, really. It goes up and down and stuff like that, but it's long.
Sounds like you've had a lot going on with your hair. And in fact, it's reminded me of something that, because I'd always had it quite short and very styled. And after my marriage breakdown, I decided to grow it. And that was something, usually people cut their hair when there's a relationship breakdown. I decided to grow it, and I had a fringe, so I grew that out, and I've grown it to a length that's kind of crazy. And it's really interesting how that became part of my personal expression. You know, I literally grew the man out of my life.
I love that. You didn't cut him out, you grew him out.
I did. I absolutely didn't cut him out. So when you were at school, did you have any expressions of the way that you expressed yourself through the way that you dressed, your makeup? Did you express yourself through things that you did? What was your thing when you were at school?
Oh, at school, let's see. Well, first off, in South Africa schools, we have uniforms. So, yeah, there's a little bit of expression that you can cultivate within your uniform, but not loads. So there's certain rules to comply with within those parameters. You can play around with it a little bit. And then makeup, we were not allowed to use at school at all. So only time to use that was over weekends and when you're going out at night, which, yes, I did. I needed to finesse the art, though, over time. I vividly recall a time when we went to a car show with my parents and my siblings. And I decided that it would be a good idea to do some makeup. Now, of course, being one of the few times that I actually did makeup myself, it was a little bit heavy-handed. And the shading for my eyes was blue. Now, needless to say, yeah, it looked like I was in either a fight or some sort of blueness exploded over my eye area. So there was a lot of it. And I can say I have improved in being to apply makeup over the years. I am not as well versed in applying makeup, most probably, as Dr. Jacalyn. I know she has very, very great ways of looking brilliant and always applying her makeup really expertly. So I've made do with more or less what I think works. Other than that, a thing that I did do a lot in school is draw. I used to draw everywhere. So it would literally be that I would draw on my books, I would make little doodles, I would draw everywhere and anywhere that I could draw. Loved it. I also, so as per the uniform for school, so I did it in pencil so it would wash out, but I had a tendency to draw at the bottom of my shirt. So if I got really bored in class, I would take my shirts sort of end out, so the little ends of it, and then start drawing on that with a pencil so that it can wash out and I don't get in trouble with mom. So I did that from time to time. Other than that, I cannot remember a lot of other expressions that I had. I was a little bit of a plain Jane in school. So yeah, I remember always looking at some of the other young ladies in school and going, oh man, you guys have such great style. Or you can just pull it off. I remember there was quite a few of them that it looked so effortless. Of course, I never asked them how they got it done. It felt like I don't know, they just had it. So yes, I envied that a little bit. And I think over time, I got used to you know what, everybody has their own little thing and maybe that's not mine and that's fine too. So Caroline, for you in school, what is it that really made you stand out, express yourself vigorously?
Well, after school,
Ooh,
as you quite rightly have said, after school, I would always go to little discos, school discos or the community disco. And I started wearing makeup at about 13. And I also wore blue eyeshadow. It must have been the thing, you know, for us to wear. So I used to wear electric blue. So I think it just must have been a colour of the time. And I always used to wear electric blue mascara. And I really made up my eyes. You know, I didn't wear a lot of makeup, but I had heavy eye makeup and lipstick, and then I was ready to go. And my mum used to say, you've got plenty of time to wear makeup. You don't have to wear that much makeup. You've got really lovely skin. And I never really took notice of that. And I did used to pile on the makeup. But as I've got older, I actually don't wear as much, you know, and I keep it very neutral, as opposed to where I was when I was very young. It's almost like I've gone 360 degree, where I wear less now, but more neutral and natural colours and much more softer makeup rather than the big outlandish makeup I used to wear. And at the same time, you know, I like to wear a bit of makeup because it makes me feel that I'm groomed, and certainly in the types of work that I have done in my adulthood, there was always, I felt, a requirement to look groomed, you know, so that was part of my style and my expression in terms of my art, that I did look the part. So tell me about fashions for you, Mariska, because I left school in 1980, and that for me was New Romantic time. So I was very much in black and white, and, you know, the two-tone, because the two-tones were around at that time. So tell me, when you left school, was there any fashions that you followed? Bearing in mind that there's quite a difference in our ages. I don't know whether there was as much fashion, but, you know, sort of it was a big thing for me, you know, to be in the new romantic colours. So tell me about what was in fashion when you left school and how you showed up when you were going out with friends.
Good question. The fashions that was in fashion at the time, I honestly have no idea. I really don't. I also enjoyed the black and whites, funnily enough. It wasn't that was specifically a fashion thing at the time. It was more of, for me, it looked really crisp and clean, and it was easy to make it look like a classic. So I really enjoy those sort of colors. I took quite a while to get into some of the other things. And what I have noticed with fashion, especially clothing over time, is we have a tendency to, I don't know, rework things, right? So thinking about bell bottoms back way when we had the flower children, it comes back. It shows up every so often. And I think that is the case with most styles, especially if there's something that people like especially about it. So one of the things that I did have, and I still do, so whether bell bottoms are in fashion or not necessarily bell bottoms, so I don't go for the very big legs, but a bootleg sort of cut. I do enjoy a proper bootleg cut jean. Now, sometimes it is really, really difficult to get a proper bootleg cut jean because, as you mentioned, they may be out of fashion at that stage and mine might need replacing. So fashion and what I actually like doesn't always talk to one another. I have found that I need to be very discerning, and luckily there's loads of secondhand shops around New Zealand. So yeah, I pop in there every now and again so I can find the clothing that I actually look for, because the ones in the shop may or may not comply to what it is that I want. How about you, Caroline?
Well, you talked about bell bottoms, and when I was very young, we used to have very wide legs, and they went straight up and down with lots of buttons at the top. and I was a bit of a fashion thing, and I wore all those things. And it was just a thing that I did, considering I'm not that into the up to the moment fashion nowadays. You know, sort of I certainly was then. And, you know, hair, makeup, I think there was even then Simon t-shirts that I used to wear with like sort of a little collar and a V-neck. And so I was always in the latest. It wasn't so much about, you know, high level brands where, you know, they're very expensive brands. That wasn't really my thing. And they weren't really out then in the way that they became much later. And when I was growing up, there was Simon t-shirts, which weren't very expensive, and there was waspy belts, which were like a butterfly detailed belt. And then there was a pleated skirt at the front. So I wore all those things. But as I've got older, there is less that I move into fashion and more it's what I feel comfortable in. So I'm frequently in leggings and then a nice top, you know, something that's floaty. And when I was young and going out in the 80s, 90s, I was known as the girl that wore a different dress every week. And so I would always buy London fashion when I was living in Birmingham, and I used to go to stores that sold London fashions. And so I always had like very silky, you know, off the cuff dresses, which I didn't pay a lot of money for. And I used to go to the same people and get them. But it wasn't so much a label as much as it was a London fashion that I was buying. So I was always known as the lady in a dress. You know, I was always in the clubs in dresses. So that was my thing. And considering I was always in dresses and now I'm in leggings, is quite an interesting change for me. Yes, bell bottoms was definitely something I did. The half circle skirts was another one, because I was very much into Saturday Night Fever. So I wore like the leotard and then the half circle skirt. So when I did my turnaround, all my legs showed. So it was very racy and risky, let's say, my dress sense. But I was just in the moment of, you know, the type of fashion that was there then. You know, I think that now I'm older, it's about what's comfortable, what I feel comfortable in.
So true, so true. It also makes me wonder, while you were doing your makeup and getting ready, right, did you also do those extensions for your lashes and all the add-ons, or did you just go for the electric blue?
My eyes, I have been blessed with really long eyelashes. So I never had the need to wear extensions. As long as I put on, you know, sort of a good quality mascara, my eyelashes became even bigger. so I didn't, I do have that luxury of not having to wear extensions, because I just have really long, and they're dark as well. So I don't, you know, putting electric blue on them when I was younger, and now jet black mascara makes them stand out anyway. But yes, that was not a thing that I needed to do when I was young. So tell me, do you, Mariska, do you collect any art? Do you have any attention in terms of pictures or paintings or anything else? Do you collect anything else that you would deem as art?
Well, art-wise, I wish I had a bigger budget, because that would really, I have too many empty walls that needs some beautiful pieces on it. So yes, I have a few, not as many as I would like to have. And I also have the wonderful honor that me and my husband do a little bit of oil painting. So we started back when we were still in South Africa, actually, and have painted some of them. I've painted myself, he's painted his own ones, and we've done some collaborations as well. We both painted on one canvas, and we have a special little signature for those ones. So for the ones that we don't get to buy, we get some inspiration from them and then put our own spin on it and create something for ourselves. So we have a few of those as well. I actually have 3 canvases in the garage at the moment that needs completing. So they are in various stages of being completed. And that is not only a beautiful piece that you have afterwards, it's also a lot of fun to do while you're busy with it. And creating them, I find a lot of fun too, because there's always a little story behind it, or how we got to decide to do something on the canvas. And then the other pieces of art that I really, really enjoy is living art. So plants. I love, 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 love plants. And to me, they literally bring life into a space, and we can make them look really aesthetically pleasing depending on how it is that we decide to arrange or put them, or how it is that they display themselves in that space. So that to me is almost like living sculptures, because they're constantly changing and we can always move them around as well. So I really like my plants. I have a couple of orchids on the side that is always standing around listening into my conversations. Luckily, orchids cannot talk, so they have loads and loads of secrets. So that would be the main areas of artisticness that I have within my space. And Caroline, you mentioned your living art in your garden that you are creating, which is so exciting. I can just imagine how tranquil that space will be when you're done with it. So I definitely need to come and visit. I know it's on the other side of the world, but it just feels like it's calling me to come and visit.
Oh, I can't wait, actually. I mean, I will put Buddhas in there and a fountain. I just need to, sort of see how much room there is. But, I really like the fact that you like plants, because I agree with you. I'm a bit of a plant person too. I have a lot of plants. and so I really endorse what you're saying about the fact that it's living art, and I never really thought about it in that way before. So that's a very beautiful expression, because it is an expression of you. I have a number of peace lilies that in this particular property, in the last 3 months of being here, they've started, the ones in the window by the kitchen, they've all come into flower, and I've had them for ages, and each one of them has come into white flowers, and I'm just really, really enjoying it. So I absolutely endorse what you're saying about living art. Well, we're sort of coming towards the end of the time that we're going to be together, Mariska. So before we go, I'd just like to get another bit of subject in, about art. And I just want to quickly look at what's your thoughts on Botox, fillers, and cosmetic surgery. What's your thoughts in terms of that being art for you, for your family or friends?
That's interesting. I think when it makes us feel good about ourselves, I'm all for it. So whatever the thing is that we feel, this is actually making me feel very good, that works. So to give you an example, is one of my very, very dear friends has, while they were younger, for some odd reason, frowned a lot. Now, not the upside frown like I'm doing at the moment, but that one, right?
Oh.
And of course, when you have that one and you've utilized it really well for a lot of years, it sort of stays there. And I remember one occasion where somebody actually told this person or asked this person, hey, are you angry at me? And the person was like, no, I'm not angry at you. And it was because of the frown. So it really got on their nerves. And then they decided to actually do a little something about that area. So it made them feel better. And to me, yes, that by all means, go nuts. Luckily, it is our own bodies that we can decide what we want to do with them. And if it makes us feel good, why not? Whether I would do some of that, I have considered some of it at some points. I don't think I'm quite there yet. But maybe if my frown does decide to develop itself a permanent state, I might need to alter it permanently into a different state. So, yeah, you never know. How about you, Caroline? What's your thoughts?
Well, that's really interesting. I haven't either. I haven't ventured in that area because my skin is quite clear, and I don't have any frowns, and I don't have any wrinkles or anything like that. And I use natural beauty makeup, mineral makeup. So I haven't needed to, and I've been very lucky at keeping very youthful. So it's not something that I would probably look at. As we're coming towards the end of our time together, Mariska, I would love for you to share with our audience a little bit about you and what you can do for others. And I'd also like you to share how people can reach you, how they can contact you.
Ooh, okay. So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier on, me and my friend Kira and fellow coach are putting our program together to move our passions into a financial development. So if you would like to join us for that series of workshops, you're more than welcome to do so and let me know. And of course, the people that I love working with is all the leaders within specialization, moving into leadership, or if you are a leader and you're moving up in your leadership space, going from leading specialists into leading leaders. So all of those transition areas, I absolutely, absolutely love those spaces. And I am sure that we will create a space that you and your team will thrive. So those are the areas that I am currently working at. And you can get hold of me or find out a little bit more by contacting me via my email address, which is mariska@journey2discover.com. Or alternatively, you can connect with me via LinkedIn and drop me a direct message, and we can start our conversation and find out how we can work together. And that is the long and short of it, Caroline.
Well, thank you so much, Mariska. It's been an absolute pleasure to be in the show with you tonight. I have really, really enjoyed it. I always love our time together. We always have. We bounce off each other so well. And I love this show. There's just so much that we can express through a woman's prerogative, because it's a show for women by women. Thank you so much. And I wish you a very wonderful rest of the day, because it's daytime for you, isn't it?
It is. And thank you again for having me and joining me on the show. I really enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you and our viewers and listeners next week.
Take care, Mariska. Bye-bye. It's been wonderful. Well, wasn't that wonderful to have Mariska on the show? It's always a breath of fresh air to hear from the other side of the world. My midnight is her halfway through the day. It's truly a very global channel. USA Global TV and Radio is a channel that is global, truly, with its team and also with the people that come on board in terms of our guests and people that come on board to share shows. I'd like to share a little bit about some of the other things that we get up to on USA Global TV. There are all sorts of campaigns that we do. There is World Jenny's Day, and there is a lot happening within that arena. We have a royal show, and more to the point, we have key expert speakers and presenters called talking heads. And our talking head shows are very specific in terms of their subject matter. And talking heads is, we have a team of expert presenters, and our talking head shows are usually 30 minutes. I must admit, I've been doing 40 and 50-minute shows, and sometimes hour shows in the early days. And that's because there's so much that I want to give. I have a show every Tuesday at 5 p.m. UK time, which is midday Eastern time. And in that I share all manner of ways of people having to handle stress. So it could be anxiety, depression, it could be relationship issues, intimacy issues. It could be ADHD, trauma, nightmares, you name it. And I pretty much, been looking at covering a lot of different aspects. And in those shows, in the Talking Heads expert presenter shows, it is an opportunity for each of the expert presenters to get deeper in their subject, which gives you education, insight, awarenesses. And more importantly, it's about giving you an opportunity not only to learn, but transform through that education. I've been with USA Global TV since July 2021, and I have evolved incredibly during my time on the channel, and to such a point that even in presenting here tonight on USA Global TV in partnership with E360 TV is absolutely incredible for me to be here. And this is what happens to people that are on the shows with USA Global TV and Radio, because we develop partnerships, and it's down to the very fact that Dr. Jacalyn always has an eye on how we can grow. She always has an eye on how we can extend our offering to more people so more people benefit. And I really do enjoy the fact that it's about giving, and when we give, the beautiful thing about that is we receive too. A little bit about me. My name again is Caroline Heward, and although I'm here on USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV here tonight, I also have a stress management business. I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and I help people manage and bust their stress. You can reach me on nomorestress@live.co.uk, or you can call me if you're international +44. If you're local, 07523 120 189. And I offer a free 30-minute Zoom, Skype, or Messenger audio, video, or call consultation to bust through one of your symptoms, which will leave you feeling more relaxed. It will give you an incredible night's sleep, and it will literally break through the root cause that creates your challenge of that particular symptom. I have really had an absolutely wonderful evening with you tonight, because it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning here in the UK. I really do thank all of our listeners, our new listeners on E360 TV, as well as all our listeners on all the various platforms. I look forward to seeing you again. It'll be a lot earlier on Monday on 5 o'clock UK time, which will be midday Eastern time. And I look forward to seeing you then. And all it leaves me to say is have a wonderful weekend. Here in the UK, we have a bank holiday weekend. So have a glorious weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Meet Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. She is a certified life, career, and executive coach. Dr. Jacalyn is the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Behind the Green Screen and Adversity to Awesome. As the listening mentor, she teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level through the book series titled The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. The Creative Hearts Awakening book series features heart-centric creatives who share their awakening journey. Through the Power of Listening educational course platform, people can get certified as elevated listeners on USA Global TV and Radio. Learn how to center yourself and align with nature through the power of nature, plants, and shrines. The Journey of Chakra Psychology course will educate you on the chakras and their meaning. The Intuition of the Heart course will help you understand how to trust your intuition. Learn how to face the shadows of self and understand the impact of following trends and materialism. Set boundaries and ask for permission to help establish better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. Take your communication expertise to a higher level with the course for curious humans. After all, we are not robots. Looking to start your own podcast platform? Get everything you need in the Podcaster Pro package with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. How can music, breath, and your voice set you free? Find out with the Power of Listening courses. Dr. Jacalyn is a certified meditation teacher, yoga instructor, and Juice Plus distributor. She will help you create a plan for your healthy lifestyle. As an expert in the art of interviewing with over 3,000 hosted and/or produced live broadcasts, Dr. Kerbeck helps her clients stand out as global broadcasters. Dr. Kerbeck's books are available on Amazon. Start your listening journey by reading. Tune into the Listening Mentor TV show, Fridays on USA Global TV, and learn how listening can be your superpower. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, MBA, DBA, Certified Holistic Life, Career, and Executive Coach, Certified Yoga Sculpt Teacher, Certified Meditation Teacher, The Listening Mentor, Singer-Songwriter, Founder, President, Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. drjacalyn.com. Thank you to all our elevated listeners, team members, animal characters, and co-authors. Contact us at 215-852-9406. Jacalyn at drjacalyn.com.
When we speak, we don't hear. It's abundantly clear. Listening lazy scripting, and nobody's gonna win. Look someone in the eye. If you don't, they surely will cry. You don't hear a word I say, 'cause you always look straight away. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy. Da 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 da. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy. When you interrupt your friend, you will surely have to make amends. Lady Ella knows the way to help you listen better every day. And what's that? It's listening lazy. Ba-da-ba-ba. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy is making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy, listening lazy.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.